What's going on, you guys? It is Kojin here, and today I wanted to talk to you guys a little bit about the class called Agni. Agni is one of my favorite classes, and I really have been excited to break this thing down for you guys so that you guys can understand why it's so popular for late game dungeon runs and why you don't see so many in the early game. So let's go ahead and let's just talk a little bit about its kit. The reason why a lot of people don't use it very often in the beginner game and why it's not so popular is because a lot of the animations are very long, and due to that, overall, people just tend to not want to spend a lot of time with this class unless you're a very big fan. So with that aside, we can go ahead and start to break down why it's so good for dungeon runs. So let's go ahead and let's get into it. First off, we're going to get into its class mechanic. It's called armor gauge. It converts a certain proportional value of the character's defense into an Agni shield. If the Agni shield is destroyed, it will be regenerated after a certain period of time. So this is a huge deal overall. While the shield is up, you get increased knockback resistance, and when the shield is down, you get increased bossing attack, and when the shield comes back up, you get a 2-second immunity. This is a huge deal overall, since it's massive amounts of defense that you didn't know that you needed until you have it with this class. So next up, we're going to start to break down some of the skills with this class. Firstly, we're going to start with Magma Blast. Magma Blast is a 32 hit 2-part skill that is also shielded with 150% shield on. It makes it extra safe to use while battling. Next up, we have Magma Spear. Magma Spear tends to deal additional 10 hits of damage after its use. Next up after that, we have Inferno. Inferno is the burst damage for Agni. Although Agni is not dependent on burst damage, it tends to use this move very frequently with an addition to Magma Spear to get a damage output equal to Magma Blast. And last but not least is Titan Rush. Titan Rush had went through a revamp and now stuns enemies upon entry and exit. Another honorable mention to use is the Infinity skill, which also is shielded. With 150% HP, this skill also is very safe. So let's go ahead and let's get into the skills themselves. Magma Blast, as I mentioned earlier, is a 2-part skill. Very nice, very solid overall. And I think that in general, it's very easy to use to start up and to finish in combos. Next up, we have Magma Spear. Magma Spear in itself already has 10 hits, but it also deals an additional 10 hits of damage. This makes it really nice filler skill, and not only that, but it still deals damage into your next skill, making it a burst activator. Typically, people will use this skill doubled with Inferno to get a damage output similar to Magma Blast. Last but not least is your mobility skill, Titan Rush. Overall, it is very good due to the fact that it has a stun, but not only that, it's a 3-part highly mobile move that you can use aerially and physically. Next up, we have the Infinity. Although the Infinity is seen as a little bit past meta, it still can be very relevant while bossing, and in times in mobbing, it does have its moments where it shines. So overall, I just wanted to mention that with Magma Blast, you have a shield. With Magma Spear, this is the only skill that is not safe anymore. With Inferno, you have knockback resistance and a bind on it. And with Titan Rush, you get a 15% damage mitigation, and it's also a stun, which every time that you use the rotation, you are stunning enemies. So keep that in mind while you're fighting. Its bossing rotation is very similar to what you just saw. Magma Blast into Magma Spear for Inferno, and then Titan Rush. Do this over and over while sticking Infinity in to suffice for cooldowns. Some burst classes tend to out DPS some of these classes simply because. Hopefully this helped. Very simple, very straightforward. One of my favorite classes in the game. And again, I want to show you guys how it works out in dungeons. I will be right back.